In the next few minutes, I'm going to be discussing everything I know about GHL automations, why I need them, and it's basically practically the most requested video from you guys. And the reason why this is such a big deal is because GHL isn't going to be GHL without the automations. It's their bread and butter, why people just choose GHL all the time. It's because while the conversations, the unified inbox, the Calendly alternative, and everything like pipelines, you've got that in any other platform. But to be connected in just one centralized place in the same platform is just crazy. So, for example, when you book a meeting with us, you can send follow up reminders. You can set up the actual messages. You can set up like after booking, aside from the follow-up reminders, add it to a Google Sheet. Like modify a detail in the contact details. Like I don't know, something crazy. And that's why automations is super powerful because all of these are built in the automations tab. No need to like go to a separate platform, for example, like Google Cloud to connect your Google Sheets, to connect your Google or Gmail and all the technical stuff. It's all just built in GHL automations. Now, before this video, we actually connected our domain, created a dedicated domain so that we can start sending emails. And we are going to create one live here in front of you. But, before you do, it's all in the settings. Make sure that your domain is connected, right? Make sure that you've got like your email service ready. You're not just using lead connector. You've got an actual dedicated domain. So when you click on this dedicated domain and IP, a dedicated domain should be set up here. Mine is email@automationsystemsco.com. And then when you go to domains and URL redirects, they should have also been right. So we've got my domain and email@automationsystemsco.com for email and funnel. So those should all be good. And then if you also want to create crazy automations to be connected to your Facebook, Instagram, Google Calendar, just make sure to like connect all of them in the integrations tab. Right now, with all of that being said, let's create our very own first automation. Now, when you go to the automations tab, there's quite a lot of things that you can do. First, you can create a workflow starting from scratch or selecting from a template. Now, when you select from a template, it's super easy, right? It's just selecting from shopping, adding it to cart, and then applying it. And they've already tested a bunch and discovered that there are, I don't know, how many are these? Around 20 plus automation workflows that are common with a lot of GHL accounts. So you've got send replies to inbound WhatsApp messages. List reactivation. For example, you've got a dead email list and you want to email all of them slowly and surely to reactivate them so that they can potentially buy your product or service. And then appointment confirmation plus reminder. Again, this is default birthday template, right? You know what? Let's actually preview. And you can preview these automations before you even apply them. Without being too technical, I listed out three main terminologies that you just need to understand to basically know 90% of automation. There are triggers, nodes or modules, if else or decision or path. Those are kind of mixed most of the time. Now, triggers is what starts an automation. Nodes or modules are the next circles, next parts, and it does a specific task for a specific platform or a specific section of GHL. And then if or else decision path is being able to decide which node or module to go to. So again, triggers is what starts it. Nodes or modules are what you call the boxes, the circles, and it does a specific task. Now, in action, this is what I'm talking about. So the trigger is what starts again. So it's the birthday reminder. And I think just from looking at this, maybe it's the day to day, right? If it's the day to day and it's their birthday, that's what triggers this automation. And it sends a birthday SMS. And this is what I call, right, the decision or the if else or the path. It's a wait for reply. So we wait for a reply 24 hours. If they haven't replied, we do nothing. If they do reply, we give them a 20% discount SMS. And these are what we call nodes or modules. And this is the decision or the path. So the path is what extends, what makes the smart, what automates this entire stuff. And then each of these it has its own like task. Now we can choose this template, right? Although I don't have like a phone number yet attached to this GHL, we can view one of the templates. And you can definitely explore the different templates there. Right? Let's see what this looks like. It's able to know, or it has a built-in trigger to know if it's someone's birthday. And we just named it birthday reminder. And then the birthday SMS is, hey, contact first name from your friends at our business. We hope all the days of your life will be as great as you are to us. May you have a wonderful birthday. So we wait for a reply, 24 hours. All right, this is what it looks like, right? If they reply to our SMS in 24 hours, this is the path, right? We're going to give them a discount. As it is your birthday, we have an amazing 20% discount for you. Maybe, if they say thank you, that's sweet, we send them an SMS. Please let us know if you're interested. And we wait for another reply. Are they interested in the offer, right? If the intent type, so it's able to know if the message is positive or not. I don't know how they do it. It's just that smart, right? If it's positive, awesome. Here's our calendar link to book in a call with us. And then if not, right, or if they like say anything else than positive or yes, we say no worries. Right? It's an easy automation, but you get the idea and you'll be surprised. This is one of the things that can practically save a lot of time with the business. Right? We're not going through each of our lists, especially if you've got 1,000, 10,000 customer list. You're not gonna see every single birthday of a customer and go and wait for replies, send the discount link, and so on. This is the beauty of automations, right? So that's it. That's for the recipe birthday template. But now let me show you an actual, right? An actual automation that we're gonna build. It's not gonna be like that complicated. So we're gonna start from scratch, just for me to show you the interface, right? Now that you know the terminologies, what a sample recipe or automation looks like, this is how you build it from scratch. So we're gonna rename this send email. Super easy, just for you to get started, right? We're gonna add a new trigger, and just looking at the trigger list, there are lots. All right, they've already configured most of the stuff, and because it's connected natively in GHL, you don't need to like add additional configurations after this. So we've got like birthday reminder. If it's their birthday, contact change, contact rated. Now, I don't think I have like really discussed what a contact is, but for example, when someone is added as a contact or as a user or as a customer, it's this trigger, right? Contact created is when they are new, and then contact change is whenever a specific detail and their information is changed. Contact is do not disturb. Contact tag when we add a contact, when we add the tag to a contact. Custom date reminder. What else? Note added, note change, task added, and there's so much more. And then we can even have event triggers. A webhook, right? Just to like give you a very short explanation of a webhook. All right, I've got like this very simple diagram. So for example, you're trying to connect your ClickUp or another platform to GHL. Now, when we look at the triggers, ClickUp is already natively integrated with GHL automations. You can just connect your ClickUp and then you can use these triggers. But let's say, for example, I don't know, you want to connect that is not that known, that is not like built in the trigger list. You can use what we call a webhook, right? A webhook is a way for you to send from platform A to GHL, passing in data, and then GHL will be able to know what to do with it. So a webhook is just that simple connection between an unknown platform from GHL to GHL. You can have like an inbound webhook when some platform sends us a signal or data. We can accept that and handle the data. Call status, email events, customer replied, form submitted, right? When you've got a funnel and you've got a form there, a GHL form, whenever someone submits a form there, we can handle the automation, right? Survey submitted, trigger link clicked, Facebook lead form submitted, right? Even Facebook, when you connect your Facebook account, you can have a trigger that every time a lead fills up a form there, it automatically goes here. TikTok form, video tracking, number validation, and so much more. They've got an extensive list of built-in triggers that I really love about it. Even in payments, when someone, right, let's click on invoice. When an invoice is sent, all right, that could be a workflow trigger to like have a follow-up reminder, all right, you haven't paid your invoice. Affiliates, courses, again, these are all native to GHL. Shopify, you can even connect your Shopify. I think you get the point, right? Triggers are what starts the automation. Now, what I want or envision for our automation to be is when we add a tag to a existing contact, we're gonna send them an email. Let me just set up one tag. So I went to my settings page and then went to tags. Let's create a new tag called customer, right? And what I want is whenever we add a customer tag to a contact, again, it's gonna send an email. And there's a bunch of reasons why we want to use tags, but I'm not gonna get into that now. So we're also gonna rename our automation to be send email with customer tag. I've got a bunch of contacts here, and then this is me, right? Here's the contact page again, and here are the tags. We can add the customer tag. So we're just gonna set that up. Our trigger would be contact tag select tag added, right? When we add the customer tag, there we go, save trigger. Make sure to always click on save. We are going to send them an email. Send email, right? We can also send a voicemail, find a contact, and so much more. And they even have like apps because they understand that they don't want to be a full on automation platform. So people are creating apps to connect. For example, I think I saw Monday, Instantly, Omnisend, MailChimp, Pably, and so on. Like these are, I think, independent apps that people have made so that you can use them in your automation workflows. So that you don't need to know about NNN, make.com, but I would still prefer using those platforms so that I have like full control. And as we can see, like some of them have crowns beside them. And that means these actions, sometimes they also call it actions, they're all just basically the same. Whatever automation platform you use, there are crowns here, which means that these are premium actions. And that's why I still would just want to prefer NNN or Make.com because I heard some stories that, because you're using premium actions, you might get charged, right? Per use of this premium action. And that's an added cost. And depending on your usage, that can grow quickly. But I've also like heard some stories wherein they use premium actions, but they're not getting charged by GHL. It's really a slippery slope. I don't know. And that's why I just use NNN or Make and then send a webhook from GHL to over there and then receive the inbound webhook. So we're gonna send an email. As mentioned, send email. Now from name, this is what's gonna appear on the email. So we're just gonna say Matt, but you can customize it, and like this is why I love this. All right, again, all of it is natively connected. So for example, you've assigned a specific salesperson or a specific DM setter to this person or contact. We can go here and reference the values. The way that you're gonna reference that is by using template tags. The template tags, for example, contact. Let's try full name. Oh, there we go. It automatically added. Let me just delete that from email, matt@automationsystemsco.com. And then for the subject, actually, let's just put that here. Sorry. And from name, let's just stick with Matt. And then for this one, we can say hi. We're going to add custom the values. Hi, first name. Welcome to location. We can search that. It's under account. And we can choose account name. Welcome to location.name. I see you live in the area. I was just looking around and figured to reach out to you. Something like that, right? You can customize this however you want. You can even create templates. And I'll show you where you can create templates. When you go to marketing, snippets, you can create a text snippet or an email snippet. Now, snippet is, I don't know why they mix those terminologies up, but it just means template, right? Snippet name, like email one. Then you can configure like this is the subject, and you can still use custom values, which is really great. So once you save that, you should be able to select that here in the templates. Welcome to location. Ask any questions you like. And then we can put our name here, right? User, first name. Now, before saving this, we can even test it out. So let's test it out on my email and see what that looks like. It's probably not going to be giving the best data because I don't think that I have a contact with that email. Right, so it takes a while. There we go. It went straight to spam because look at the subject. It's just one. And hi, blank. Welcome to automationsystemsco.com. Ask any questions you like. And then sender is Ronald Matthew. We were sending through a test email. Let me show you what it looks like in action. So we just save that. Don't forget to save the whole workflow. So this is saving just the action. This is saving the whole workflow. And finally, this is still in draft. You gotta set publish and then save so that this is gonna work every time we add a contact tag. And then let's try that out. So we're gonna go back to contacts. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna click on tags, customer, and I think that's it. We don't need to click on save or anything. All right, let's go here. Now you might be wondering where can I see if that worked, right? It's called enrollment history. And as you can see, there's no enrollments found. Execution logs also wasn't able to like give us anything. And that means like we need to save it. Now I know why. So when I click on the trigger contact tag, there's no customer tag. So again, let's just see if this happens to you. It's probably because we created the tag after we created the workflow. So I'm just gonna refresh. Next, all right, you should save it and save it again, and then let's watch out for that one. I'm gonna re-add the tag. There we go. So I just clicked on this X button and then re-added the tag, and then it should show up in this inbox. and chat history message. It said that it's like sent, hi blank, welcome to Automation Systems Co. Ask any questions you like. If you no longer wish to receive this email, you may unsubscribe. And if you go back here, I don't recommend you refreshing because it's gonna take a long time. Just go to settings and back to enrollment history, and boom, our first automation is now working. It says here that it was sent during this time, and then the current action is displayed here because your automations could get really long, and in order for you to keep track where the current contact is, you can see it in the current action, and it says here that it is finished. Then if we look at the execution logs, we'll be able to also see what happened bit by bit, step by step, what happened to the specific contact. I sent an email, and let me just look at it. There we go. So it's really hard to look at our test emails. It went to the promotions tab because we still have this. If you no longer wish to receive these emails, you may unsubscribe. And like that is configured around the settings. If you look at business profile and scroll down here, you need to be compliant with your emails. There we go. So make email compliant by adding an unsubscribe link to your email. Now you need to be compliant, but you can also turn that off. Let's turn that off for now, just so we don't need to have a hard time finding it. Disable unsubscribe link. I think it worked. Sometimes GHL is just really buggy. There we go. After refreshing, it now displayed like the unsubscribe link will now be gone. Now we can go back, and I want to change my contact because, like as we can see, it's not able to recognize my name, and I want to show you in actual. So I'm gonna add my first name, Matt, last name, Rob, then save, and then we can delete the tag and then add it again. So you can see it sent the email, and hopefully this time it's in my inbox. There we go. So as we can see, boom. Hi Matt, welcome to Automation Systems Co. Ask any questions you like. Now you might be wondering, why is the name not present here? It's because GHL, you need to like assign this person to a specific user. So as we can see, there's this owner, which is right now unassigned, and we can assign it to me. And now for the final try, let's send or like add the same tag. And now our name should show up here. And you can even preview what the email looks like here. Hi, Matt. Welcome to Automation Systems Co. Ask any questions you like. And I'm Matthew. Boom. We finally did it in around under 30 minutes. Hope you were able to follow or learn a lot from that. And if we go back here, enrollment history, so you can see it triggered 3 times. And all of them got finished. Sometimes it's going to show fail, or you can click on this. And when you click on it, or click on this, or even these buttons, you can see the view execution history, which will lead you to the execution logs and like show you the actual steps. Or you can click on this and see it in the actual workflow interface. There we go. It's a 2-step workflow, super easy to do. Now let me show you what you can do with this one. So I've set it up so that whenever someone comments on one of my posts, sends a specific keyword, I was actually able to replace ManyChat. So if you don't know ManyChat, it's an comment and social media automation platform so that you can automatically send DMs. And I found this recipe. There we go. Just search for FB. And then when we preview it, if a message was sent to our FB Messenger, we're going to assign this to a specific person. We're going to send an internal SMS to the assigned person and then add a pending tag and so on. Now, what I did was use the same trigger, but just configured it with multiple automations. When someone sends me a DM of like 15 or Gemini or interested or comment, so let's see it in action. So whenever someone sends a DM with the exact keyword interested, it's gonna like go to this workflow. Whenever someone like comments on an Instagram post, any post, right? You're just gonna configure it to be the page, and then the post type is a published post contains phrase interested. Same with Facebook, right? It's all the same. And then I just stick this on track first level comments, and then if the condition is very simple, if it came from Instagram or Facebook or send with DM with the exact keyword, you can respond on a comment and then send them an Instagram message. Super neat. You don't need to pay for ManyChat anymore. You can just do that natively here on GHL. And the beauty of it is that ManyChat, actually the more contacts that you have there, the more that you pay. But with GHL, it's just a straight flat monthly fee. And that's why I love it, and I've switched over to this one. Now for the final part of this, a lot of people have also like requested how to connect NRN to GHL and vice versa. Before I modify this workflow, I want you to know that you can go crazy with this. After sending an email, move them over right to a pipeline stage. You can add notes. You can assign to a specific user. You can send a Slack notification. The limits are endless. What we're gonna do is just delete this for now. Let me show you how to connect it to NRN so that you can do more automations in NRN. Automations that you can't do it natively here. So, as I've mentioned already, I've already taught you webhooks. We're just gonna send a webhook and make sure that it is post. All right, not gonna get into the technicals of this one, but you do need a URL. I've got my NRN workflow here. It's complete from scratch. We're gonna create or use a webhook called Trigger. These automation platforms are almost the same. Once you get one, you basically know all the other ones. So as we can see, we got the test URL. Gonna copy this one. Make sure that it is post and copy this one. Go back here, put the URL here, and then we can save action and click on save. Now, let's try and add the tag again. But before that, let's listen for test event. So now it's gonna wait for someone to send an information to this test URL. We're gonna add customer. There we go. And we can view if the enrollment history was like registered. As we can see, like the webhook is the last action, and we know that it did, right? And let's see NNN. There we go. Boom. Super easy to connect it to NNN. As you can see, the body contains a lot of stuff, right? It contains the contact ID, which is like very important. And then first name, last name, full name, email, tags, country they created, contact type, which is the lead, location, the user, and then what workflow it came from. And then now, you could do a bunch of stuff here, like Google Sheets, right? Append or update, right? You can also like after that create a Jira issue, send a Telegram notification, so much more. Like again, that's why I love this. You can see the execution logs. It got added to the workflow, and then we sent the webhook, and then it got removed at the end of the workflow. There's so much more that we haven't discussed here. For example, you can re-add people to the workflow so many ways. Like for example, here in the automation, you can add them directly here, right? And that's it. The last thing, because you know how to like send from GHL to NRN, the last thing that I want to check is how can we receive data from NRN to GHL? And again, super easy. Let's go back to the automation. Let's add a new trigger, search webhook, inbound webhook. Now this feature is currently disabled, enable it to use this action. As I've told you, this is the reason why I still would like to use NRN because inbound webhooks are a premium action. Premium actions and triggers feature is chargeable for each execution and default price is $0.01 per execution. It's not too bad. Let's click on enable. As we can see, now GHL gave us a URL. We're just going to copy this one. And then now, let's go back to NRN, delete everything here. And then let's also delete the webhook trigger. Let's make it trigger manually. And then search for webhook. Oh, sorry. It's not a webhook here, but it's an HTTP request. Paste that here. Make sure that this is post. And then now we can configure whatever we want. The name is name Matt. Another one is, I don't know, age. Guess my age, 30. Not really 30. Finally, color is blue. Now, can try it out. But before that, we need to save this. Mapping reference is required. Oh yeah, you need to send an initial request or like yeah, just click on this one. Now it should send data over to GHL, and this would allow us to reference that payload. Boom, and we got this right. We were able to receive the name, age, color, save trigger, action name, probably not create contact, receive, and then webhook data. Email or phone field is required. Oh, it's create or update contact. What happened? You got the webhook already. Oh, look at this. When I hover over adding a new trigger in one webhook, it's not here, but it tells me that it is here. So let me just save this. Oh, there we go. So yeah, you're witnessing like the limitations of GHL interface. It is really buggy and just sometimes need to refresh. There we go. We need to like configure that again. Copy this one again. Now we need to send another one. Execute step. Go back here. Save trigger. Hopefully. Oh no, there's a bug here. Well, at least you now know that what I would probably do after this is like go and create another new workflow, or probably just delete this one. Oh, there we go. GHL. Now, click on save. So there's a problem. Please, we need to, oh, because it added this one, create a contact. We need to delete this. And boom. Now this is kind of weird, right? As we can see, the inbound webhook is from NNN, and the webhook is also from the same NNN. But like this is possible, but I don't highly recommend it. It's like you're making GHL to be this middleman. But yeah, that's how to connect NNN, and I think it's just up to your creativity and whatever the client is asking you to do. Whenever someone pays, you can send a thank you message, record it in a Google Sheet, like send them another booking link, have a follow up reminder, nurture lead sequence. And this is like the beauty of this. You can even start building using AI. Set up email drip campaigns, notify team when customer reply contains a specific phrase like urgent. Oh, that's nice. Sync new contacts to Google Sheet. Let's actually try this one. I'm really curious. I think this is free. It's the first time I'm using it and it didn't prompt me. This is it. Like, this is 90% of what you need to know how to build automations in GHL. It's that easy. So the trigger is when customer reply received. If the message contains urgent, it will go here, send a notification to a specific team member. Customer reply contains urgent, requires your immediate attention. And like this assumes that there is an owner for that contact, just as what we did a while ago. And you can also add notes, right? For example, this is the reason why we did this. This is for fun, so that other people who are looking at the same automation will be able to like get this. And then you can also add comments. I think this is a comment, a workflow note. And what is this? Stats view. How many are delivered? Open, click, replied, bounced. Oh man, it's just complete. And then if there are errors, there you have it.